Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Undead settlement. We are back at the beginning of this area. Last time we went, along one of two long paths through the area. And the fun part about that was that it's all optional. Even the boss, that we didn't fight then, but we will fight today, is fully optional. If we wanted to go through this area quick, and, fight every enemy on the way, it'd probably take us, 10 minutes, I think, roughly. Give or take a few, depending on how good you are at the game. But it won't take you long, is the thing. But there's a lot of optional stuff. And they don't just mean what we saw last video, and not just part of the things that we're gonna see in this video, but there's also stuff that will take us one more, or maybe two more videos. Because this area is big. Very big. Though it's all very confined. It's a geographically speaking small area. It's just that there's a lot in it. Now this is the other path that we didn't take last time. Just cross that bridge, and if you want to just go through the area and not bother with any of the optional stuff, this will be the path that you have to go down to, but you can see there's already a rather lengthy bit here that is just not something you have to walk along. No, never. You just kind of have to not be there. This is optional. So many optional things in this area. Now, other areas do this as well, obviously, but this one's especially tightly packed with content. And those guys, that guy just killed me. They can be quite tough. They don't usually have a lot of HP, but they move erratically sometimes. They might just move out of reach of your swing at just the right moment, when you need it least. Other times they just might try to, shoot their blow darts at you from close range. It's weird with those guys, and I try to avoid them or kill them before they actually can do anything to me before it happens. Because those usually just, they cling to walls or other surfaces. And what they do is they wait for you to walk underneath them, and then they plunge attack you. And this is something that I reckon a lot of people here missed.
Another Nana disappeared. So grunts and carries a cage. He ever has his cage. And Nana's never coming back. So come into the cage and become Nana's shade.
Alright, that was a little bit weird. Now, you could try to decipher what he's trying to tell you. Chances are that even if you find him, assuming that you find him, that you won't be able to. Though it actually makes sense, if you listen to him, kind of after the fact, it makes complete sense, kind of. But anyway, yeah, assuming you don't kill him and actually find him, you'll still gotta figure out what to do. Because what you have to do is drop down here, which is an area that you can only reach by dropping down. And then you see this guy with a cage on his back. You might actually be inclined to attack him as well, along with the other guy, but he doesn't attack you. You can examine the cage and climb into it. But first, there's a small thing I want to check out. Yeah, I thought so. Always drops down. We'll be able to get it later, though. Don't worry. we have to actually come here via cage before defeating the boss of this area. Otherwise, we won't be able to use the cage anymore to come here. Which is kind of a pity, because what we found down here is actually the entrance to the Mound-maker Covenant, and it's easily missable. You can still get it later, but way later in the game. This is a way to get into it really early.
Well, what's up? This pit is for hollows, not for the likes of you sane folk. Or perhaps you are a hollow, posing as otherwise? Oh, yes, yes, then we are just fine. It's important to know who you are, but we'll all be mad soon enough. And should you be undead, well, all the more so. Beware, the shackles of the gods are fragile. You might need this. Etch it on your heart if you feel your sanity slipping. Come here to pile up your victims, for that will form your anchor. You'll see when you go mad. They'll be your family. You'll go mad one day, but not today. Take my advice. Use this bone and leave this place. This pit is for hollows, and for the occasional madman fond of piling up victims. You've better things to do, I'd hope.
You probably couldn't tell, but this was Holy Knight Hodrick, the guy who invaded us near the end of last video. And this is where you can offer vertebra shackles. I'm not gonna do it now. I'm not sure if I will do it at all, but this is how you actually upgrade your Covenant level. Which gives you some items if you upgrade them far enough. Some decent rewards. Anyway, let's move on to business. Now right here the path diverged, so this time we're just gonna go inside here. And again, huge area, lots of stuff to discover. And if you actually wanna, you know, just go through it to the next area, this is the path that you have to go. Which isn't to say that you should just run through it. There's actually a lot of valuable stuff that you can find. I mean, we did find an undead bone shard on the other path, and that lets us upgrade our Estus flask. I just didn't do it yet because I forgot, but if I went to the bonfire and offered the undead bone shard, our Estus flask would now be +1, and it would actually read +1 in the bottom left where it says Estus flask. And upgrading it is, of course, especially this early, really great. I mean, just next time I heal myself, take a look how little it heals actually. I mean, I like to stay topped off anyway, to a fault probably. Most other people probably just take a hit or two more before they heal. Believe it or not, there's a minor split in the path here again. Just if you look down, you can just, you know, drop down here. And this is actually where you'll probably want to go. Just down here there's a bonfire right inside that room. There's enemies dropping fire bombs from above. They normally aren't able to reach you down here, but I guess they just kind of did. Must have been lucky for them, or rather, you know, unlucky for me. And this bonfire is useful in case you have trouble with the boss, because from here on out you have the quickest boss run possible, and you don't even have to fight any enemies. I think I even mentioned it before, but there is an easy way to get to the boss without engaging any enemies, for just about every boss. At least from some bonfire, not for the start of the area necessarily, but the designers put some thought into it. I know. See, I could have just hit that corpse, that hanging body, a little bit more to the left. It might have dropped on our side. a lot of those bodies are hung in a way that make them drop to unfavorable places, unfortunately. If you're really unlucky, you might even hit them in a way so that they drop and land somewhere where you just simply can't reach them. That happened to me once. Looky there, somebody in a cage.
Aha, unkindled, are we? Welcome to my abode. I am Cornyx, an old pyromancer. A crow in his cage, as you see now. But here we are, an encounter for the ages. I hear the unkindled make for fine vessels. Care to learn some pyromancies from this old man? Most wise. A chance encounter should not be squandered. To reiterate, I am Cornyx of the Great Swamp. The pleasure is mine.
Right here is the door we opened at the end of last video. We can barely see it through the smoke. And we are gonna make use of Cornyx's services soonish. Because no matter what type of spellcaster you play, you'll probably always use pyromancy unless you do some kind of gimmicky challenge run. Because the thing is, pyromancy benefits from both intelligence and faith. As soon as the total of both stats hits 60, the soft cap is met and it won't really gain much power anymore. So if you have 30-30 faith and intelligence split, it's gonna be at full power. If you have 60 intelligence or faith, it's also gonna be at full power. So it does benefit from the stats that casters use. So there's really no reason to not use pyromancy, even if it's just something that you use for an intermediate period before you get the sorceries or miracles that you want to use. And we approached this this little place here from a bit of a different direction than you usually would. Because see, we just dropped down the bridge to the bonfire. But if we just had gone on over the bridge, we would have ended up here. And those guys that we killed up on top, they throw fire bombs down, there's explosive barrels here, that guy shows up, and it's just an all-around bad time. It's a very difficult situation. So you will probably die on your first time around, unless you are really good and very cautious too. So you're encouraged to check out if there's maybe a different way the second time you come here. Which is how you'll most likely discover that drop down to the bonfire. But if you know what's up, by which I mean you've played a Souls game before, like I did, you just might have a keen eye for stuff like this. You might just see, oh, there's a place to drop down to. Maybe I should go down there. Like normally, I would encourage you to just explore everything before dropping down somewhere. Because there might be a chance that you can't get up from there reliably anymore. But if you see what's ahead, you see, oh, there's enemies up there, they're gonna do something, exploding barrels. Oh, there's a big guy. Yeah, I can tell what's gonna happen. And you might feel more inclined to actually make a drop. And here we have more dogs. Good God, 2 of them. I'm a pretty big fan of those. Okay, so this is something that happens sometimes, very frustrating. You just get stuck. And normally there's only one dog. The other dog is supposed to travel with a different enemy, patrol with them, but it seems they didn't. So this happened. In retrospect, I could have used the force miracle to just push him away from me. Of course, that would only work if I don't get interrupted. Yeah. That little fucker deserved that. Again, it's not that I don't like dogs. I just don't like those dogs. I'm a cat person, but I like dogs. Anyway. That other dog is normally supposed to patrol with another enemy, but it didn't do it for some reason. I don't know why. It's not consistent. At least not as consistent as I thought. This is how it's normally supposed to go. And now we can deal with those rats relatively easily too. They normally aren't really supposed to be that far out either. Like, they are supposed to be as far out as they are now, but previously, before I died, they actually just were there and attacked me as well. Maybe they have an increased aggro range, maybe they sometimes walk out a bit further too. Might be that they're patrolling and I just never noticed it, to be honest. I just gotta know that something's gonna happen here, because there's something obscuring our vision. Well, that's not all too impressive. I fought bigger rats in Dark Souls before. This is just a medium-sized rat. And I fought uglier ones too, believe it or not. But you do get the blood bite ring from it. Now, bleeding is something that, well, you should prevent it if possible. But it's just, once the bleed meter fills up, you just take a chunk of damage. I normally don't really bother increasing my resistance to it. Anyway, here we are, back at the first bonfire, or rather the second bonfire technically, or third, depending on which way you go. Because for us, it would be the third now. But we do want to be here, because where we want to go is the boss, for now at least. And again, there's still more to this area. This area is huge. I think I said that like 10 times already. And yeah, this is a really easy way to the boss. This is a great A boss run. You don't really have to do anything, just run. There are enemies normally, but if you just run straight from the bonfire and don't actually make any stop, the enemies that patrol there don't have a chance to actually come there. And here we have a ton of hollows worshipping that tree in the corner. And yes, that tree does move. I mean, can you guess what the boss is gonna be? Because, you know, I don't think it's obvious enough. But yeah, it's best to take care of as many of those hollows as possible before you actually engage the boss. He will aggro eventually if you get too close, but you can get surprisingly close without it happening. The curse-rotted Greatwood, or as the community calls it affectionately, tree balls. I don't know why that is though. It's I don't think there's a good reason for it. It's just people trying to be funny. Oh yeah, you're supposed to hit them these big bulbs. There's more than just those that are near the center. There's also some on his right arm and leg from our point of view. You don't normally get one shot by the Curse-Strike Greatwood. But yeah, I switched to a different weapon. I wanted something that attacks a little faster, so I went back to the deep Great Axe, deep Battle Axe, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, all jokes aside, we need to use our axe to hit him in the balls. But it's actually a good idea to attack the arm and the knee first. Normally you'd have to wait to attack the knee until he kind of drops down or something, but if you have a high attack, you can even attack it when he's just, you know, sitting there normally. With the heavy attack of the deep Battle Axe, we can actually hit it. It's also possible with the Lucerne, but it's a lot harder because it attacks a lot slower. And you could swear it also takes more hits. And oh, there's actually a bulb on the elbow as well. It's just that you're very likely to be able to attack it at this point. And there we go. Every time you destroy one of those, you actually take a lot out of his health. And the center ones would be easy if it weren't for that one attack, where it just goes up and goes back down, and then there's this, whatever it is, coming out of him. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. Anyway, as soon as you take out his balls, phase 2 begins. Now these enemies, well, they can be troublesome, but they're not immune to gravity. And now his balls have reformed and he's gained a hand. That's the weirdest kind of phallic imagery I've ever seen. If I've seen a lot actually. But anyway, if you attack the hand can't be destroyed, but it'll constantly take damage. This is in case we destroy all of the bulbs, and he somehow isn't dead yet, but he should be dead, because those tend to do enough damage to actually kill him. And just out of instinct I attack the hand to see if maybe there's a bulb there, because sometimes, just sometimes, there is one there, but you can't see it in time. So it's better to just attack sometimes. And here's another one on his elbow. This is probably the hardest one to get, because he will have to fall down before he can actually do it. Now, taking out his balls again is incredibly difficult now because of the hand. The hand has deviously many hit combos. Like that one time I got hit twice, or rather I dodged 2 attacks, and then I said, hey, I'm gonna go in for another one, and then I got hit by a third. Another attempt, oh, I dodged a third. Surely there isn't gonna be a fourth. Then there was a fourth. The hand can also grab you. You'll want to avoid that. But at this point we're thankfully almost done. But it seems like the best way to actually deal damage now is either the hand or the ball sack. You know, we just could wait for him to drop down to attack the elbow. But again, this is something that happens fairly rarely. So it's better to just, you know, do the needful. What you can definitely do is just to bait some attacks from the hand until it sits just there and you can just attack it once or twice. But it doesn't do a lot of damage. Though you can try to hit it from a range, but it's hard to hit, to be honest. And this would be a chance to attack the elbow. Unfortunately, again, it's pretty hard. You need to be in the right spot to do so. So let's just get him by the balls. If he would let us. Unfortunately, this is quite difficult sometimes. Actually, forget what I said about the balls. Let's kill that elbow. The most important thing in this fight is to just stay patient, to be honest. Because there's a lot of stuff that can just go wrong if you don't. Especially with the hand that can grab you really easily and do a lot of damage. I'm glad that's over with. Didn't really like that boss, to be honest. See you again next time when we explore even more of the Undead settlement.